Okay. Oh. This should be better now. Okay. Precursor, I just worked 10.5 hours and I'm tired and I have no idea what's going on, more or less. So this is gonna be a little bit of a quick stream. Also, if you see in chat, it wasn't a fart, so sorry I'm late. That's what it was. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about some HHN spec. I've got some trivia stuff that I want to show you guys and go over. I know it's been a little bit of a delay since last time. Also, sorry that everything looks like crap. I've been super busy. What?
It wasn't going, but now it is.
Okay. I'm delayed, that's why. But yeah, so let's talk about some spec for a little bit. I've got some trivia teasers I want to show you guys, and a trivia question that I actually want your guys to help me out with. But it's the first stream of the year, so yay! Sound effects, excitement, whatever we want to call for, or whatever you want to call it for that. But yeah, whatever y'all want to talk about, feel free to let me know in chat. Let's talk about some stuff. Sorry, I'm so scatterbrained today. Also, my back hurts, and this is my current chair. It is terrible. It is at like a 45-degree angle, and I was really hoping when I planned this stream that my new chair was going to be here today, but it's not. But it will be on Thursday when the next stream is, which is going to be what? The 16th? Yes, 16th will be a big stream for everyone. Sky, I know you sent me a bunch of stuff that I need to look back at for speculation, but of the 3 rumored houses so far, what do we got? We've got WWE, The Last of Us 2 potentially, and Terrifier. So, what do y'all are most excited for, theoretically, out of the 3 of those? Josh, do you know what the house the thumb is from? Also, welcome everyone. Thank y'all for popping by. I had a whole list of everything I was gonna do, and I already forgot all of it. Starting this year off on the right foot. Also, I brought the laser pointer up here so we can play with the scaredy cats a little bit later, if I didn't lose it. But anyways, let's just pull up some stuff and let's just start talking and doing whatever, because I know we're all excited about HHN. So, boop, 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 sorry. I have tiny monitors and I have a lot of stuff I'm trying to look at. Just remember, this year will be the year of 6 billion. I realized a few days ago, I told this to Josh as well, but every 5 years, like, I was born in 95, so like every 5-year increment, something major has happened in my life, for better or worse, and 2020 was obviously not a good year for many people, myself included, which means that 2025 has to be like the best year I've ever had in my life, right? Like, there's no way it's not. So, we're gonna go from there. Derek met David Howard Thornton at Universal. That's awesome. It's funny chatting about HHN and Jan. Hey, I've been working on dozens of trivia boards the last however many days, the last 2 weeks or so, pretty much nonstop. And man, let me tell you, I miss 2011 and I wish I could go back to 2008. Like, oh, I've been so elbow deep in lore and trivia and everything that I'm just like, can it be HHN again already? That would make me so happy. But anyways, let's talk about some stuff first. Let's talk about The Last of Us. Let's start with that, because that's probably going to be the headliner. I know, for those of you guys who haven't been caught up with everything, let me give you all the real quick rundown. We're speculated to have 12 haunts this year. Not 10, not 11, but 12, which is super, super awesome. And one of the other things that I'm excited about is Soundstage 25, where Stranger Things 2/3 was, and Poltergeist, and I can't remember what else. Oh, Walking Dead in 2014. But that's supposedly going to be used for, or there's permits for that to be at HHN this year. So I'm stoked. And if I was a betting man, I would say that is going to be where The Last of Us is. It needs not only does it need the space, but again, I can't think of a bigger headliner. You know, people have been clamoring for Terrifier, but Terrifier is a very niche, very specific audience, very diehard audience. But The Last of Us has that broader appeal, and The Last of Us is what's going to bring in the numbers, and Terrifier is what's going to keep the fans coming back. But I don't know how to phrase this. My worry with The Last of Us coming back to HHN is that it's been so hard in the last decade or so to be able to discern the difference between zombie haunts. And I'm not trying to say that as a negative, but, you know, I think about the last two Walking Dead haunts. They were just post-apocalyptic zombies. There was nothing that those haunts did that was unique that set them apart from anything else. And that's 100% kind of how I feel about that's about how I felt about The Last of Us in what, 2022, 2023. I don't have no concept of what year it is anymore. And I worry that if The Last of Us comes back, it's just going to be another zombie haunt. Because, like, some ideas were cool in Orlando. Hollywood's was obviously much better. Those who've seen Hollywood's know it was much more faithful to the videos. Also, fun fact, this little runner, I don't know if you guys can see my cursor. I can't remember if I enabled it or not, but that little runner that was right there in that first room, I am 98% sure was the same little static figure that was in the Insidious 5 room this year. That's not a trivia question, but maybe it will be in the future, so listen to me. But, like, the thing with The Last of Us is there's so much emotion. There's so much going on in it, and I want to see that in the haunt. I don't want to just see generic zombie A jumping out, doing a thing, and going back. I don't want to see generic hunter number 4, wherever he is, just popping out, like, going, and going back in. I want to see the horrifying aspect. I want to see the human aspect. I want to see crazy stuff happen. I don't want it to just be the same type of post-apocalyptic, everything looks the same, the scares are the same type. And that's honestly, that's my big worry with The Last of Us coming back. Again, not confirmed. If it does come, I'm going to be optimistic, as I always am. I will always give every haunt a chance because I want them to be good. I don't want to sit here and be upset about something. I hope everything is as good as it possibly going to be. But there wasn't a lot of stuff in this Last of Us haunt that really set it apart from any of the other zombie haunts that I've done in the last 13, 14 years or so at HHN. So here's to hoping they learned from their mistakes. And again, The Walking Dead got better each time. Walking Dead 1 was okay. The characters kind of carried the entire thing. Walking Dead 2 had some really cool sets. It had that giant prison courtyard. And even if some of it was kind of like, overall it was definitely a step up. And then obviously the third one, the mega haunt with the 60 character room or whatever, was incredible. But then 4 and 5 and The Last of Us, it's just all the same. So my question to Universal is, if The Last of Us 2 comes back, what's going to be different? How can we make this feel different from what it has been in the before? I'm going to do another stream on Thursday. I already mentioned that, but I'm going to pull up some more Last of Us 2 stuff to talk about on that stream and kind of go over, you know, things that I want to see, or, you know, what I personally would envision. Excuse me. But, and also, again, if The Last of Us is announced, I will do a playthrough of number 2 on stream sometime this spring or summer, and I'll have to figure out how to do that. But I just really hope some of the cool stuff makes it in. Like, spoiler alert for those of you who haven't played the game or don't want to know. Like, the burning island at the end. Also, I haven't played this in like 3 years, so I don't really remember the specifics that much, but like the burning island at the end or the giant skyscraper, those could be really cool set pieces with, you know, some of typical HHN tricks that I think that they could do really well. Obviously the Rat King has to be in there. How are they going to do it? probably some type of giant puppet. I hope it's not just the same, you know, La Lechuza and whoever else, Beetlejuice face, whatever that puppet is, where they just, or Elsie Bond, that's who it was, where they just, it's just that one big puppet that gets pushed forward. I hope it's something more dynamic and cooler than that. Also, Substance was great, Josh, I agree. I would 100% love to see just a Substance haunted house that's just like the last third of the movie and it's just body horror and, ooh, crazy. Yeah, Josh, I know you don't like I know we talked about the repetition of post-apocalyptic. And I agree, Sky. Soundstage 25, they'll have the space to do it, and I think that's where it needs to go. Golfing scene in the house, LOL, RIP. Well, season 2 is premiering now in April, so by this point, everyone will have seen what is going on, theoretically. So, you know, sorry, distracted. So yeah, hopefully it takes a little more from the, I guess I can't say I hope it takes more from the game than it does from the show because I haven't seen season 2 yet, but I hope it's good. You know, I can kind of tell you guys, even if I didn't like Halloween 2022, I could tell you the difference and the evolution between Halloween 2014, 2016, 2018, and 2022. I don't know if I could necessarily do that with all of The Walking Dead and or just any type of zombie haunt, with the exception of the ones that really did something different, like Dead Exposure, Patient Zero. What about a Fallout haunted house? That's another one of the rumors. And I'd be excited to see that. I haven't finished the show yet. I'm way behind, but these 3 that we're kind of talking about is what Legacy, the HHN insider, has kind of, I don't want to say semi-confirmed, but all of his clues have been pointing towards those. And Fallout's also been mentioned. And for the record, I think a sci-fi haunt is like perfect for HHN. Sky, I agree with you, like Fallout and Alien. I'm not necessarily a Fallout super fan, but Alien versus Predator in 2014 was just incredible. And I was just re-looking at a lot of it for trivia the last few days, and like, HHN does so good when they do sci-fi. Like, give me a second. We're gonna... Also, I don't know if I've shown the Hollywood puppet on here or not from when they did AVP in 2014, but like, that was absolutely nuts. But anyways, I really hope we get a Fallout haunt. The environments are varied enough and they're different and they're cool. So I would love to see something that doesn't feel like every other HHN house, especially after we've just been talking about the similarities between the zombies and Walking Dead haunts. Sorry, I'm trying to see if I can find a decent AVP walkthrough that's not gonna blow everyone's eyes away with strobe lights, so there's your warning. But like, oh, I love it so much. I would say that, you know, if we're looking at our big IPs, I would say that Fallout and Last of Us will probably be our big 2 ones. You know, we've got, I would say Blumhouse is probably a lock as well. Real quick, sorry to keep segueing. But I would say Blumhouse might be a lock, because we have, what, Megan coming out in June, or Megan 2.0 coming out in June, and we've got the Black Phone 2 coming out in October, I believe. So I would say a double feature Blumhouse haunt is, like, nearly confirmed, at least in my opinion. But I want to see some surprises like Alien and other stuff. Long Legs, yes, let's do it. Sky, I didn't like Alien Romulus. Okay, it was good, but it was not great. I definitely way overhyped it. But I would pay good money to see a Long Legs haunted house with Nicolas Cage actually showing up at the end. What else was coming? Oh, Wolfman is coming out, but I think that's gonna probably get lost into obscurity as soon as it comes out. I don't have high hopes for the release of that, unfortunately. Yeah, Alien Romulus was cool in concept, and it wasn't a terrible movie, but it just was so, I don't want to say improbable. Everything was too convenient. Everything happened too conveniently. There was no struggles for the characters. It was just like, oh, this thing happened. Oh, I figured out how to overcome this thing. All right, what's the next thing? Like, that was my big problem with it. Josh, I need to get my Wolfman ticks. And speaking of, if you guys are excited about the Wolfman or like the Wolfman, the first episode, or one of the categories of the first episode of HHN Trivia that will be dropping eventually. I'm not telling you when because I want it to be a surprise, but the Wolfman at HHN is one of the categories for that first episode. So study up on the wiki if you guys want to get some questions right for that. Real quick before I get too far off track, let's go over to Terrifier and talk about that. Now, if you guys have been here before, you've kind of heard me say that I don't think Terrifier will ever make it to HHN. So it's very interesting that it's going to potentially make it to both coasts. I always said that if it came, it would be Hollywood. Hollywood would be the coast that could do it, because Hollywood is able, I don't want to say is able, but Hollywood does a little bit more. Hollywood gets a little more out there and a little more graphic, and I mean especially with the smells, they aren't afraid to do some stuff that's gonna make you go bleh and feel queasy. And Orlando, not so much, at least in my opinion. Yeah, there's some good gore, you know, Triplets last year had some really great set pieces that were unpleasant. Blood Moon had some great corpses and stuff, but very rarely would I say at Haunt at HHN Orlando has conjured up something so graphic or gory or disturbing that I remember it for a long, long time. Sequences and set pieces, sure, here and there, but a single image of like terror, not really. You know, maybe Nightingales in 2011, I can kind of remember some of that stuff, but I don't see it much in Orlando. And the reason I kind of say this is because I am a Not Scary Farm simp. For those of you guys who didn't know, since I have never been able to get videos done because I'm bad at this, but Knott's is one of the haunts that can create those nightmarish images. So I wanted to show you guys this clip of Waxworks, which is going away this year, RIP. But like, look at this. Look at these. Look at this freaking animatronic nightmare fuel, whatever you want to call it. This is the stuff that I remember I want to see at HHN Orlando. I want to see this hideous, gory, disfigured, gross, something that I'm going to haunt my nightmares that I can't see anywhere else. And if there was going to be a haunt that could do that, it would be Terrifier. I want to see something, or I want to walk by something like, where's the surgeon guy? I want to walk by something like this, where I go like, where I gag in the haunted house or something. I have some sort of reaction that isn't just, oh, cool. So with that being said, my excitement for Terrifier is like through the roof if it's actually true, because maybe it finally pushes HHN back into that more extreme league that it hasn't been, in my opinion, for quite a while. So we will see, though. It could go either way. It could either be really gory, really cool, and really boundary pushing, or maybe it just is played a little bit too safe. Sky, I promise I will watch Terrifier 3. I will get there. Nosferatu, I would love to see at a haunted house. Yeah, Rip Racks works. Yeah, I hope everything's all right in Hollywood. Like, you know, it's sad. It sucks. I hate seeing stuff like that. So I hope everyone is all right, and or at least as all right as you can be in the face of that. Like, I couldn't imagine if that was happening to me right now. Like, I don't know how I'd be able to recover. But anyways, Josh, I wonder where Waxworks sits on the 6 billion knots countdown. Well, you'll have to wait until May or June for that. In theory, like I said, 2025 is the year of 6 billion, and if it's not, well, I'll drink heavily after the stream. LOL. Oh, dang. I hope you're all right, Derek. That's crazy. Oh, that just sucks to hear. I hate seeing anyone affected by that. That sucks. Well, anyways, that's kind of my thoughts on Terrifier. The other thing is Art the Clown is a silent killer. So it would be a lot of... It'd be interesting to try and make those scares. The same pop-out jump scares wouldn't be great because Art is such a character. He is such a theatrical monster that just having him do something like Michael Myers where he pops out and then goes back in the shadows, that wouldn't work. So not only would the haunt need to be designed in a way where Art could be front and center and not just be a jump scare, it would also need to be done in a convincing way. At least that's the way I look at it. And then the one last thing I wanted to talk about real quick, Sky, I know you sent me a lot of stuff on this, and I read it, but I'm going to do more research on this before Thursday, so we can do a little more in-depth spec discussion before we play movie games. But WWE Wyatt Sticks, I think it would be awesome. So... You know, maybe this is just me sounding like an HHN nerd and looking into things way too much, but I would love a haunt like that where it's more or less turn your brain off and just enjoy the scenery. You know, something like Slaughter Cinema, but each room doesn't have its own story to tell. It's just the equivalent of, you know, a good comfort movie. You don't need to know the characters. You don't need to know the plot. All you need to know is that it looks cool and it has some fun stuff going on in it. Of course, there's definitely more of a layered narrative to the story of all of this as well. And this isn't just, hey, let's put wrestler number 7 and make an HHN thing out of it. But again, sometimes I rip on a lot of HHN houses for having crappy narratives, but sometimes I think the best ones are the ones that don't have narratives. You know, for every Graveyard Games, it's good to have something, like I said, like Slaughter Cinema, or I'm drawing a blank on other comedy houses, or any just fun houses. But, you know, I would love to see something that, like I said, is just cool to look at, creepy characters, good scares, but I don't have to feel like I'm missing out on something because I don't know the lore, or because I don't have any previous knowledge. I can still enjoy it without any of that. A mix of Dead Waters and triplets. Yeah, and that sounds awesome. Like I said, well, one of the scaredy cats just killed themselves downstairs or something, so R.I.P. in peace. Oh, Museum Deadly exhibits. That's what I was going to say. You know, it's kind of something like that where maybe it's not necessarily the same consistent setting throughout the entire haunt like Museum was, but you know, each room has just enough context clues that you can tell what's going on. It's got the Sadar character in that one scene that does their thing, and then you move on to the next idea. I would totally love that. And speaking of as well, something real quick that I wanted to go or show y'all that I found literally right before I did this is Undertaker actually had a haunted house in Hollywood in 2000, way back in the day. They had a lot of weird stuff in early Hollywood HHN. So this concept isn't actually entirely new for Universal, which is kind of weird to think. But I mean, you know, the quality on this is obviously not stellar. But like I said, cool idea. And honestly, this fits HHN to a T, in my opinion. You know, beer, wrestling, rock and roll, like chains. Just a good vibe. It's a good vibe that we haven't seen at HHN in a hot minute. Josh, stop hating on triplets, but I agree with you 100%. Okay, so I think that's about all I have as far as speculation goes, especially since we kind of talked about Fallout, Blumhouse, and those are kind of the only other IPs that I know of to think about off the top of my head, I should say. So I want to, before I start showing y'all some HHN trivia teasers, I want to pull this up and see what everyone's thoughts are on this. Now, Josh, Josh, we talked about this and I sent this to you, but this was something that I found while I was doing research for HHN trivia, and I want to see what y'all think about it. So I'm gonna pull up, give me just a second to pull everything up here. Okay, here's hopefully you guys should be able to text that's on screen here, but this is the 20 Years of Fear Scare Zone from HHN 2010, which was my first year. And I read that in these lantern images, or in these lanterns, these were the only good pictures I was able to find, but theoretically there's supposed to be 5 hidden images within the swirls to represent each of the icons. So one of them is the Hitchcockian silhouette for the director, a pocket watch for storyteller, or caretaker, my bad. The spectacles are for storyteller, a flashlight for the usher, and then what was the last one? Oh, a clown face for Jack the Clown. So I can kind of see some of them theoretically here. I can see I can see maybe the pocket watch on the left side. I can maybe see, where did I find the glasses? Can maybe see the glasses in the bottom right here. But I'm not entirely sure if I can find the other ones or if this is something that somebody made up. Because that's the other fun part about HHN trivia, is trying to separate what's fact and what's fiction. And what I remember because I'm old. Oh, Derek, you were canceled for Wolfman premiere? Man, that sucked. Wolfman has not had a good run before opening. I hope it gets better from there.
I'm gonna have to find that picture.
Also, hi, Amanda, yes. Skull and Spooky, I feel you. I've been, after today, I came home and I was just like, oh, I do not feel good. So, hopefully hopefully neither of us get sick or we overcome this soon. So, if anybody has any ideas, or if y'all can see any of those images, let me know, put it in chat. I'll probably send this in Discord later on as well. But I just genuinely want to know if other people can find these images. Sky, maybe I'll see Wolfman this week. I want to see it sometime. So I might see it Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I have to figure out my work schedule because I have to go in and work on some projects there, so I can kind of choose my schedule a little bit, which is nice. But yeah, I'm stoked to see Wolfman. It's either going to be a lot better than everyone expects, and I hope it is. I like seeing things succeed. Or it's going to be a catastrophic train wreck that's going to be so bad it's good. Hopefully. And I'm very down. And I'm very down for either. Josh, classic YouTuber outsourcing the work to the viewers. Yeah, you're right. Do my work for me. Come up with trivia questions for me. But actually, I am going to make you guys come up with trivia questions for me in like 3 or 4 months. And I'm going to do a live stream where somebody, maybe Josh, maybe Amanda, I don't know. I'll have a trivia board made of questions that I've never seen before that I want you guys to think about and submit later on, and I'm gonna do it live on stream, and we're gonna see how much of an idiot I am when I don't do my research, and or how much I can remember from memory, because I think that would be a lot of fun. And speaking of HHN trivia, where did I have all this stuff set up at? I did come up with a teaser for all of y'all for the next, or for the episodes that are coming up, or whatever you want to call it. So I have like 7 or 8 boards done right now that just need to be made into videos. And what I did is I took one question from each of them, well, almost all of them, and I'll give you a little teaser of some of the things that you'll be seeing very soon right now. So let's go through and let's play some trivia. And let's see how y'all do. I say as I am too distracted to get everything set up. There we go. All right. And also thank you everyone for tuning in real quick. I really appreciate you guys. I know last year was not the year that I promised it would be, but this year it will be. And the fact that everyone is still, well, mostly everyone is still here sticking by me, I promise I'm gonna deliver on everything that I told you guys I would deliver on. And I just had to make a good foundation first. I got so much stuff out of the way that I'd pushed to the side trying to get videos done, and we're on the right track now, so we're gonna be unstoppable. Yo, what's up, Nick? Nick, I could have told you like 8 years ago the Packers sucked when we first met. Actually, I'm pretty sure I did, but I'm sorry that they still suck. RIP in peace. I'm gonna look at chat. We'll go through each question. I'll leave it up on screen for a bit because I know you guys are like 40 million years behind me. But go ahead and answer in chat when you think you have the answer so that way I know that you guys have seen it. And until then, I'll just be chatting. So this is the stage that hosted the inaugural appearance of the Wild Stallions at HHN. Now remember, Bill and Ted started a long time ago at HHN. It wasn't a recent addition. So think about that as you come up with your answers.
Question just popped up.
Which one?
The first one.
Oh, I thought you meant in chat.
No, I said the question just popped up, just so you know.
Also talking to Sky about Rip Ride Rocket. Great, 100%. I don't know if this is confidential knowledge or not, but I don't really care. But from what I remember, Rip Ride Rocket can only has an hourly capacity of maybe like 1,200 to 1,400 on a good hour without having to deal with downtimes and guest issues and whatever else may pop up. And the average HHN house aims to get 1,000 people every half hour, I believe. So the goal is 2,000 every hour, which would be what, like 30%. One additional haunt would theoretically have more capacity than, or one more HHN haunt would theoretically have 30% more capacity than Rip Ride Rocket, not to mention all the maintenance and downtime and guest and ride restrictions, not to count all that nonsense. So, you know, it's a fun ride. It's cute, but it overstayed its welcome. I think change is necessary, and even if I am sad about some changes, such as Splash Mountain leaving, because that's still my favorite ride of all time, but Rip Ride Rocket needed to go. It ran its course, it served its purpose, it's time for something else. And low-key, real quick, before I answer this trivia question, I think the best thing in the entire world would be if Rip Ride Rocket gets replaced with a Fast and Furious type roller coaster, and then since there's two Fast and Furious things in the park, the actual Fast and Furious ride, which is an absolutely massive show building and a huge piece of real estate, gets retooled into some new type of dark ride, some next gen something. Maybe we get a cool, really or wicked dark ride or something. I don't know, but that's my like 6 to 10 year dream for Universal, is that Rip Ride Rocket's gone, Fast gets upgraded, and Bad Fast goes bye-bye. Also, yeah, should have bought a Jeep. You're right, Josh. Should have gotten B&M Hyper. All right, I may have thrown y'all off a little bit. It was the what we now know is Fear Factor Stadium, but it was the Wild West stage back at that point in time because it hosted the Wild West Stunt Show because Fear Factor... What?
I got it right.
Oh, proud of you. Sorry, I can only see 3 things at once. But that was just a 100. Let's see what 200 holds in store. It's probably a little bit easier, actually. Between 2007's and 2023's events, Dr. Oddfellow remained trapped in this realm. And if you went to HHN, I guess a year and a half ago now, or HHN 23, you probably heard this phrase a bazillion times. Yo, Nick, Amanda's better at HHN trivia than the Packers are at football. That's crazy. And Notre Dame, too.
That was a good one.
Thank you. I'm very proud of myself for that one. I'm very proud of myself. Also, I might need a refill. Also, I don't know if y'all can see this up here, but Amanda got me this for Christmas. Oh my god, I forgot what holiday it just was, and I love it. I have a shirt that has similar art style with the horror slasher cat, so I'm super excited. Nick, I'll never stop. Yes, and everyone's saying Zodiac Realm, you guys are correct, or Zodiac Dimension, same thing. So also just remember, these are all from separate categories, 4 different HHN trivia. So if you want to do some studying, Zodiacs, Dr. Oddfellow, Bill and Ted, old shows, that might be some things that you can study up on before we get started. Oh, Aaron, or you and Aaron were back-to-back champs at bar. Let's go, Nick. I'm proud of you. Y'all are killing it. It's okay, Skull and Spooky. As long as you're learning something new and having fun, that's what I hope the point of this is. Oh, look, didn't I say the Wolfman was going to be making an appearance soon at HHN Trivia? What was the first year that the Wolfman's appearance was not based off of Lon Chaney Jr., which is what Wolfman was based off of from Fright Nights to this year? I like it, Sky. Professor Billiam makes me feel a little more special and a little less nerdy for just talking about this stuff. And I guess real quick segue while everyone's reading this. I got so focused last year on trying to get things done that I forgot to do stuff that was fun and stuff that I liked. And that was a lot of the reasons that things didn't get done. But this year, I'm doing the projects that I want to do. And I should have done a lot more trivia last year because just talking about this stuff and learning new things, like, this is so cool to me. I love doing this. And this is what I want to keep doing to keep this channel alive. Maybe it's not going to be the main thing that everybody loves or that you guys watch me every week for or gets me new fans, but this is what makes me happy. And this is also how I research stuff that I can make other videos on. So, you know, this is going to be a trademark staple, whatever you want to call it, for many, many, many years to come. And also, Skull and Spooky, you can say that you weren't doing good, but you were correct. It was 2009. Because Benicio del Toro's Wolfman movie came out in 2010. I think it was February 2010, which I did see on opening night. So I guess it is kind of a shame that I'm not seeing this Wolfman on opening night, because I guess it kind of breaks the combo. But 2009 was also a landmark year for the Wolfman in another way. I'm not going to tell you what that was, because that's going to be on the first trivia episode. So study up. Also, I have another question for y'all before I go to the next trivia. Do you guys think that I will learn how football is actually played before HHN this year or not? I'm guessing not. I watch football. I couldn't tell you how. I don't know how that game works. I'll never learn. Anyways, let's look at some trivia that makes me look slightly less embarrassing. Now, Dracula isn't the only Universal monster to have a haunt based off of an action-heavy film, more action than horror, more comedy than horror. And in fact, this classic Universal monster had 2 of those movies, or two of those haunts, almost back-to-back years. Or were they back-to-back years? Also, thanks for this. Thanks, Sky. I love it. Skull and Spooky, I relate to that. 2009 was the first year that it was like a possibility that I might go to HHN. So I was obsessed with that website. We went to Hollywood that year, which I'm very thankful for, and I had a great time because it was my parents' 25th anniversary, and they drugged me along and took me to California and Vegas as a third wheel for their anniversary. So I very much appreciate that. But yes, I loved the 2009 website. That was my home for so long. I remember running downstairs when it first launched and telling my mom, I want to go to HHN because they're going to have Chucky this year. Because that was when I was in my, like, Child's Play as the best film franchise that's ever been made in the world before I had seen Scream. I was obsessed with Chucky. Anyways, so that's that. But yeah, 2009, so much cool stuff. But it's okay that we didn't go because there's actually a decent amount of POVs for at least some of it hidden there on the internet. And Skull and Spooky, you're on a roll. The Mummy. Mummy Curse Continues was in 99, and the first Mummy was in 98, I believe. I'm probably very wrong. I literally just looked this up too, and I already forgot. We're looking at this. Okay, 99 and 2001. I was wrong. I've shamed everyone. Shamed myself. Anyways. Excuse me. On to the 500 point round. The wording on this one might be a little weird. I'm still working on it. I typed these up like 5 minutes before I started the stream. Eddie Schmidt's first headlining Scare Zone was a celebration of HHN's past with tons of colorful stages. An execution that was almost the exact opposite of the original. So what was this Scare Zone that Eddie Schmidt headlined that was a big HHN celebration haunt? And I agree with that, Skull and Spooky. I didn't hear great things about the spawning, but, you know, to this day, people still talk about Leave It to Cleaver. Saw was a very love it or hate it from what I've heard. I've heard some people say it was the worst maze ever and that Jaws sucks. And I've also heard them say it was the best one in the Jaws queue. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
I like the Jaws queue.
I like the, I mean, I only did 2 haunts in the Jaws queue, but I like the smaller, more claustrophobic venues.
I think I had my best scares were in the Jaws queue.
Yeah. I don't remember. I remember the orphanage kind of, but there's no pictures of it, so now I don't know if I imagined it or not. But yes, you folks are correct. Lights, Camera, Haction, Eddie's Revenge. Now for Double Jeopardy, or whatever you want to call it, I have to see if I can remember this correctly. Do you remember what the name of the movie that they were filming in the original 2009 Lights, Camera, Haction Zone was? Because I know I do. But just like the Mummy's dates, I completely forgot what they were. I know it because it was almost going to be one of my HHN, or it was almost going to be in a category, but I couldn't find a way to make it work or making it way too obscure, so I held off on it for now. But since we're just here hanging out, I want to see what y'all think. Don't mind me hydrating. Man, we need more chainsaws. We need some more Eddie Schmidt style chainsaws at HHN. I want the gory, the bloody, the visceral. They kind of worked in Zodiac and some other Scare Zones, but like, I want this back. I want the Chainsaw Drill Team Massacre in 3D. I have a 3D haunts category coming up, which is why I was trying to debate if I could make it in there. And yes, Josh, it is a mega deep cut. That's why I didn't include it. I will say as well that I've updated the Carnage questions as well. So instead of just being one question at the end of the game right before the final, now there's going to be up to like 3 of them every single game. And they're basically going to be stuff like this. They are going to be mega deep cut questions that follow up on something else. So, for example, just like we did, if the answer is talking about Lights, Camera, Action, I would maybe be something like this. Or this haunt was also obscurely referenced in this haunt. Something like that. I say, you were pretty much there, Skull and Spooky. All right. I've only got one more question typed up for you guys because, like I said, I didn't want to give all the answers away, and I wanted you guys to still be able to have some fun when they premiere for the first time. But let's see if we can remember this. Also, I cringe at some of these writings, so I'm sorry. Get ready for blood, booze, and boobs all night long, and perhaps one of the most underrated movie IP haunts ever. And I will say, this haunt absolutely slapped. Absolutely slapped. Not top 20, not top 25%, but pretty close. Especially given what it was based off of. This was one of those haunts where you didn't walk in with high expectations, but you left very, very pleasantly surprised. Another thing you guys can look forward to, forgotten IPs. IPs you may not have known were at HHN. Except for apparently everyone that's saying From Dusk Till Dawn, because you guys are correct. Absolutely stellar haunt. So good. 2,000 out of 10. Now, I don't know if there's a picture of it anywhere online or in any of these videos, because I remember when I was originally working on the countdown, I got pissed that I couldn't find a good shot of this scene. Okay, give me a... Let me hack this real quick. Let me internet sleuth. HHN Wiki is going to be my best friend, or has been my best friend, because I think there was a photo of it. Also, if I was going to do a follow-up Carnage question for this one, it would be something along the lines of, this did one of the most risque things of any HHN haunt, or it did the first of its kind risque thing at HHN. You know what it was? Ah, dang, I thought there was a good picture of it. It was this Skull and Spooky. This one was based off of the what's the word? The TV series that was going on at the same time, and not the superior and more Quentin Tarantino-y, for lack of any other adjectives, original movie, which was very, very good. But there's two scenes I want to try and point out. I don't really care, or I can't really find what I'm looking for, so we can just scroll through the wiki. But I vividly remember going into this haunt with low expectations. Very just, like I said, it's vampires, it's from a TV series on some network that people didn't even know it, or what was it, El Rey network, that wasn't really a well-known. You couldn't go up to someone at HHN and ask where they could watch From Dusk Till Dawn. And I think 2014 is the year that I visited the most. That was the first year that I lived in Florida and had steady transportation to Universal. And I'm fairly certain I went every night except for one or two. So I have very good memories of that event, and better memories of a better recollection of some of those haunts than I would have thought. But anyways, going into this one, I remember the first couple scenes are kind of claustrophobic. You're going through the strip club with the vampires. It's very close quarters. There's not really anything that's surprising. But then you start to venture down into this Mayan temple, and holy crap, these sets were huge. Like, I'm trying to see if there was any other. So you're going from. Don't have a lot here, but you're going from little vignettes like this that are close quarters, that are crammed, said typical stuff that you would expect, and then you go into the underground temple. Great scenic design, like incredibly detailed, super cool stuff, and just looking at the scale of the people versus the camo netting here, like that was tall. Like this was 25, 30 feet tall, maybe. Like, just absolutely the middle third of the haunt was just these sets that put so much others to shame because of just how massive they were. And it was great. It's like, holy crap. And then when you go back to the bar for the final scene, you might expect it to just kind of be like, meh. But that shootout was so cool. And the design they did, I really liked. I don't know if I can find a great picture. So this little doorway in the back, that's where you came out from the temple scene and you re-entered the bar. So you came out from behind the counter and you walked around, and there's where the camera is, there's some stages and some fake curtains, so you don't really know if there's going to be people coming out or not. And then you start walking down this hallway and it expands to the second part of the bar. And it's just this big wraparound scene. Maybe in this POV I'll be able to see it. Is this it? Yeah, so this is right after you come out from the bar. And you're expecting like, okay, that was it. That was the finale. But nope, you've got this another 30-foot tall strip club set. And even though the scares and the blocking wasn't super great, it was just one of those where it was really cool that it wasn't just a bunch of rooms. Like, each room extended far beyond what you would have expected it to have. Like, it could have, a lot of these scenes could have naturally ended at a point, but they decided to keep going. Oh, loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Anyways, that's all I've got for you guys for trivia tonight. And I think that's about all I've got to talk about tonight as well. As I said, Thursday, probably around 6 o'clock Central Time. I'll do another stream and we'll play movies for sure. We'll get a little bit more in depth on some of the speculation. I'll have some more references and stuff. Maybe I'll have some more trivia teasers for you. Who knows? Did you guys enjoy the trivia? Did you guys like that? Like, am I on the right track? Is this something you'd be interested in seeing? Let me know in the comments, because I overthink everything, even though Josh and I talked earlier this year, and I promised that I was going to stop overthinking everything and just do stuff and get it done. And that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I would love to sit here and keep chatting with everyone, but I have to get up early tomorrow, and like I said, I want to start getting stuff done. I want to get videos done. I want to get this stuff. I'm in the mood to just get a bunch of stuff done, and I want to harness that so I can get videos out for you, because it's been way too long since we've had consistent releases. I liked Roanoke too. Roanoke was good, not great. There was some cool ideas in it, and I don't know if we would have had a house as good as Blood Moon if we didn't have a house that was as okay as of Roanoke, if that makes sense. I will say though, when Roanoke in 2014, when Roanoke was at HHN, load, okay, was around when Attack on Titan, the anime, was getting really big and really popular. And I don't know if anyone else remembers or heard this or talked about it, but every time I went through this haunt, I always heard people calling this the Attack on Titan costume, because it was supposed to be a little skinned villager that was like on fire or something towards the end. But it looked like the Attack on Titan that is skinned. I watched the series. That was over 10 years ago now, so I can't remember a single thing about it. Nick, you know enough about HHN. Ooh, you're True Sky. Hopefully by Thursday we have the last few permits. That would certainly help. I'm glad you all like hearing the trivia. Makes me happy. Can't remember if there's anything else I was going to say. I think that's about all that I've got to wrap it up. Ooh, I know what we can do. We can see if any of the scaredy cats are up here. I think Cohen's right here. You want to say hi to everyone? Ooh, and also on Thursday, hopefully, knock on all the wood here, I should have my new chair so my back won't hurt. Cohen has a better chair than I do right now. Where's your brother? And the annoying fat one?
Both of them sounded like they committed suicide downstairs.
Oh, are they the ones who died? R.I.P.
Pretty sure someone fell off the cat wall.
R.I.P. scaredy cats. Let's see. You're supposed to chase the dot, Cohen. Okay, we're just gonna...
We're gonna stare stupidly around.
I'm just gonna stare. It's funny though, because as soon as they click it, the other ones aren't up here, but they can hear when I press the button of the laser pointer. They know something's about to pop up. There we go. But thanks for tuning in, everyone. As is customary, we got to end it with the Scaredy Cats. They're a big part of the channel, and they'll maybe have a little bit of a bigger role in content coming up. We'll have to see. We'll have to see if they cooperate. This one right here likes tearing down the green screen behind me because that's where our window is, and I have a blackout curtain in the green screen there because I can't hang anything because stupid tilted ceilings. But he likes climbing the green screen and getting behind it, so... Jerk.
He just looked into the laser.
Yeah, I know he did. Yeah, Dead by Daylight house would be interesting. I want more video games haunts. Honestly, kind of what we talked about with Wyatt Sticks earlier. Like, I want the type of video game haunts where it's like Dead by Daylight, or even something maybe like Resident Evil or Silent Hill, where like, as long as you know the vibes of the game and you know the property and you know what you're getting into without really doing too much research, you can just go along for the ride, and I'd love that. I think that would be great. But anyways, we're going to call it because I'm going to be getting up at 5 a.m. to go swimming and then editing for like 9 hours after that, and I'm already tired. So once again, thank you, everyone. I love you guys. Thursday, let's say 6 o'clock right now. What is that? Thursday, January 16th, around 7 o'clock or so, or 6 o'clock. And we'll do a long one. We'll go for a couple hours and we'll play some movies and we'll do some more in-depth spec. But thanks for stopping by, everyone. I love y'all. Wouldn't be doing this if you guys didn't tune in and hang out with me. So appreciate y'all. Take care.